Right now at 5:30, Americans are changing their attitudes on alcohol, and it's having a big impact on wine country. You've all heard that debate over whether a glass of wine can be beneficial to your health. I really hope that one was true, but a new poll from CNN shows growing public concern about the impact of moderate drinking. It found that half of U.S. adults now say that moderate drinking is bad for your health. That is more than double the number from just 2 decades ago. And this comes shortly after the U.S. Surgeon General called for labels on alcohol warning about the increased cancer risk. Max Darrow is in the North Bay with a look at how changing habits are impacting the industry.
From wildfires to supply chain issues to a shrinking customer base, California's wine industry has seen its fair share of challenges in recent years, which is why some in the industry are frustrated by the U.S. Surgeon General's recent warning. But there are others here in Northern California who are staying optimistic. At William Harrison Vineyards and Winery.
So Jared's taking samples.
It is a relatively small operation.
These are all wines from 2024, right?
So General Manager Rod Santos,
you know, they're changing dramatically as they rest in the barrel.
Keeps a close eye on everything, from the barrels to the books, the wine to the vines, and the people who keep him in business.
They may be a little bit more cautious about how much wine they consume.
He thinks that may happen because of a recent advisory from U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy outlining what he called a direct link between alcohol consumption and increased cancer risk.
And moderation is something that we need to continue to strive to educate people about.
The Surgeon General is calling for an updated warning label on alcoholic beverages to include the cancer risk alongside the existing warning for pregnant women. Santos says while changing the labeling would be an expensive process, he thinks transparency is important.
After 37 years, it's probably a little outdated. So if it needs to carry an additional warning about cancer specifically, so be it.
However, he says that transparency is a two-way street. He thinks people should also be aware of research into the positive health benefits of wine when consumed in moderation.
Wine has also been proven by many, many research studies over in the last, handful of decades that it has also cardioprotective benefits.
While the announcement came as somewhat of a surprise, it wasn't all that alarming to him. But that wasn't the case throughout the wine industry. Just ask Karen McNeil, the author of The Wine Bible, the best-selling wine book in the United States.
That wine has played a positive role in society and culture for 8,000 years. In wine communities all over America, people were so despondent. That seemed so frightening.
An advisory from the Surgeon General is reserved for a public health concern in need of urgent awareness and action.
It was alarmist.
McNeil believes it could threaten an already hurting industry that employs millions of Americans.
More than 90% of all of the 10,000 wineries in the United States are small family operations. It's not just that a negative story is now being told, it's also that wine's incredibly positive story isn't being told enough. Hundreds of research projects, hundreds of doctors who say that moderate wine consumption can be part of an overall wellness and healthy lifestyle.
She points towards a recent report from the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine.
A moderate amount of alcohol reduced mortality from all causes of potential deaths, including all cancers, with the exception of one, which was breast cancer.
However, there are parts of that report that conflict with the Surgeon General's report.
We, as an industry, need to come together and be prepared to discuss it because the health concerns of alcohol are real.
Santos believes industry-wide collaboration and transparency will prove to be key moving forward.
One more label on a bottle of, alcohol is not going to, I don't think it's going to change the industry much.
And while it might change some habits, Santos doesn't think the appetite for wine will wither.
For thousands of years has been well regarded, and as long as we can educate people about consumption of quantity, they will be able to continue to appreciate it without too much risk to their health.
A moment to remind people about mindful moderation.
As of now, federal guidelines say that men should limit daily alcohol intake to 2 drinks or less, and women should only have 1 or less. Later this year, officials are going to review those guidelines using the most recent data.